And you're asking like, what do we do about?
Is you sign a contract with someone.
So real quick, before you did that, did you?
More than 30 years. I got my real estate license in the
And your origin story.
Is that he made an age joke the last time we were. I'm gonna use that Kuka.
You know, I'm a little more strict with what I'm looking at.
Hey everyone out there in YouTube land and our Facebook group, Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. How you guys doing today? So I got a special treat. I went and saw this person, Isabelle, at the MREI Real Estate Meetup Group, and I fell in love with how she's presenting everything with her business model. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I'm just the idea and everything. So I wanted to bring that to you guys. I wanted to bring whatever she said over to here, and I can't really explain it very well. I will lose words. So guess what I did is I brought on Isabella just to bring it on. She is the CEO of RAL Academy as well. And she is also runs her own assisted living facilities all around the country. I can't wait to have you guys hear her origin story, what she's doing now, as well as what she can do to help you guys out. So without further ado, I'm going to pronounce Isabelle. How are you doing, Isabelle?
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. So I was really, truly blown away when I met you at the MREI Real Estate Meetup Group here in Michigan. So, for anybody out in YouTube, if you're not in Michigan, that's where I met her. Where are you based out of? I believe was it Arizona?
Yeah, Phoenix. You got it.
Phoenix. Awesome. So, but you do assisted living places all over the country, right?
I own and operate my own 3 here in the Phoenix Scottsdale market.
Okay.
And then teach and train investors how to do it in all 50 states, even other countries. So yeah, we've got
that's awesome.
all over.
That is awesome. So with that being said, let me bring up, tell me a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, actually for us, it's really close to home. My grandmother fell, she broke her hip, and she needed assisted living. And my family kind of got introduced to the concept then when it meant something to us, when it was needed to us. I mean, we'd seen a big box, we'd driven by a Brookdale, but we never knew what was really going on, what was involved, how much it costs, all that good stuff. And so my dad had been a real estate investor for 40 years. And at that point, he was doing quick math and he's like, wait. We're either going to pay $5,000 a month for her to live in one of these homes, or we could own and operate the home and the business, and she could live for free and we could be cash flowing $10,000 a month. I think we should get in. So he purchased his first one with the intent to move my grandmother in. She passed before we could get her in, but we really fell in love with the concept, ended up buying 2 more, and then have taught thousands of other people how to do this, because truly we just had never seen cash flow and impact in this way.
So I'm going to reel you back here for a moment, because you said something that probably not a lot of people picked up on, but because, I'm a wholesaler, if you don't know, and I always have to run the numbers for buy and hold investors. One thing that you kind of said that I picked up on was $5,000 in cash flow.
$5,000 a month for her to live in the home, or if we owned and operated the business, it'd be $10,000 a month in cash flow for us, and she'd live for free.
Yeah. So essentially that's $15,000 in cash flow, because if you were paying, essentially.
If your loved one lived there, potentially.
If your loved one lived there. My God, $10,000. That is a lot of dang. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. That just, it is the second time I'm hearing it. So, but it's still it still shocks me every time.
Well, good.
So,
And I'm glad that it's exciting to you, because that's exactly
yes,
what we do is, depending on your market and how many seniors you're allowed to have in the home, it usually ranges somewhere between 6 to 16 seniors within the home. So that
mhm,
number of, 5,000 is really based on having somewhere in the middle, like 10 residents in the home.
right,
And the thing is, for real estate investors, it's not like we're exempt from aging, right? It's not like we're exempt from having aging loved ones. We deal with this too, but we have a unique skill that maybe not everybody else in the world has, right? They see
right.
their aging loved one and they say, I don't know what to do. I don't have any options. And so they just automatically go to the big facility instead of looking at options and saying, what can I use with the skills I already have?
Hmm. That is awesome. So, yeah, you always have to look at what you have available, and see how you can do it from there. So, you know, when you spoke, it actually hit me home. The reason why is my mother is going through stage 4 pancreatic cancer right now. So she's on disability because of, at the moment. Now, thank God, luckily she lives in her own house. She owns her own home. But and my little sister actually lives with her to be able to take care of her.
Mm.
But if my little sister didn't live with her, we'd have to do something like that.
Yeah.
And that stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
So it would eat through the equity of her house very, very fast.
Yes.
So
It would fall on you guys, the adult children, to foot the
yep,
bill.
100%. So I'm one of 4, but it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, tell me a little bit about how you got started in this, because did you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to start assisted living? Because you told me that you said your grandmother was, you were looking for your grandmother. So your father was looking into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he purchased
So how did,
one. Yeah.
yeah. So how did you get into it as his child? Did you just say, I'm going to follow in his footsteps, or did you take your own path and then come back?
Yes. So I was a flight attendant when all of this was happening. I had graduated college.
Okay.
I went out to travel and have fun and be free, and wasn't making a ton of money. Grew up with a very entrepreneurial father who was always in real estate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I would be home on my trips, I started to notice that he had sold all of his other forms of real estate and he was only doing assisted living. And I knew
Okay.
why, he'd gotten into it, why he had done that, obviously because of my grandmother, but I didn't really know what it was all about. And so on my off days, I just started kind of going into his office, learning a little bit more, visiting the homes, checking out this and that. And he asked me, if I was interested and wanted to learn more. And we just started kind of slowly working together. Eventually, I quit my job, became one of his first employees, and we own the 3 homes and 5 other businesses. And so I was his right-hand gal running all of those up until he
Okay.
passed in 2021. And then I, took everything over as the front lady. So it's been quite a journey, right? Almost 8 years by his side. And that was so amazing being able to work with him in that way and really just learn this industry from the inside out.
That's awesome. Now, did he make you do every job? Just
Didn't
about?
teach me. I just did them all because that is what you do when you're building a business from 1 person to 50 people, from 1 company to 5. You have to put your boots down and be the end all be all. So I knew exactly
Oh,
what.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, if you don't know how to do it, how can you train somebody else to do it?
Exactly. So we didn't have any of the departments that are involved, these days. So I had to
Right.
become that, leader of that department, figure it all out, figure out the systems and the processes so that eventually I could pass on all those different 50 roles, right?
Mm-hmm. So, when you started doing that, how much time passed before you ended up owning your own? Or did you just work with your dad's?
Yes. So when my dad passed, they were left to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No,
So,
it's okay.
all right. Now, if I remember correctly, your dad was actually pretty famous, wasn't he?
Well, famous in the assisted living world. Yep. He's known as the
Okay.
godfather of residential assisted living.
Okay. And he actually met and worked. Did he work with what Robert Kiyosaki?
They're good friends. They were good friends. Yep. So
Okay.
Robert owns a big box facility down the road from me here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Him and his ex-wife Kim. And so when my dad met them, years back, he was like, "Hey, you're the assisted living guy," and they became fast friends. And Robert invested in it. My dad invested in it. So it was a great friend.
Most definitely. And I think everyone can understand that, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad is kind of like the godfather to, real estate. And it's like what everybody read first just to get change their mindset, I guess. So at least it did for me. I can't speak for everybody, but everybody I've heard from has said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So tell me where you're at now and what you're doing now, because running 3 assisted living facilities, although that's a great business, it's fun. I know you got to be doing more than that.
Yeah, so we have the 3 homes and then we have the 5 other businesses. And the main one that I focus on is Residential Assisted Living Academy, where we teach and train real estate investors and entrepreneurs how to start, own, and operate their own assisted living homes. So we host trainings about 8 times a year in Phoenix, Arizona, and we have an online course, and we're teaching thousands of students each year how to do this all on their own. And so it's not a franchise, it's just an educational course, but I find a lot of joy in doing that. And that takes up most of my time.
That's awesome. Now, for anybody who is interested or at least want to look it up, we did include the link in the description, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on our YouTube channel. Go down to the description. You'll see the link there. So we did include that just after your bio. So check it out. I highly recommend you for any of this, because everybody that I've talked to that has dealt with you has said nothing but great things. So
I appreciate that.
So tell me a little bit about how did you come up with this course, and then what drove you to do that? I guess I would ask that more so. What drove you to do the course?
So as a family business, my dad had been an educator for about 30 years prior to starting assisted living. He taught people about all sorts of different investment strategies. And when he jumped into residential assisted living, everyone around him started asking, well, I don't get it. You're making all this cash flow and you're only doing one thing. What's going on? Teach me all the secrets. So December of 2013, which is, we're almost coming up on our 10-year, right? In December, we did the first 3-day training to teach some people how to do that. And it just went crazy from there. So I've taken over that training from him, right, since he passed. And so I'm thrilled to be able to carry on that legacy and continue to teach investors how to do good and do well. That's
awesome. And, that's the reason we're doing this is I started this podcast to help originally help my Facebook group stand out more. So because there's a ton of Facebook groups out there. So, and we have about 5,300 people roughly in our Facebook group, and it's growing every day. So, but I figured at the same time last year around this time, I'm like, well, I might as well start posting on YouTube as well. So we're starting to grow that as well. Awesome. But I understand with the educational, and it just, to me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, it brings joy to me when I see somebody else succeed through what they learn from me. So it's crazy on that. Now, what is you don't have to give everything away or anything like that. You go take the course, but what is your guys' secret to success versus say, other assisted living places or anything like that. So, versus is it American Homes, I believe is one of them. That's like the big chain.
Oh, not necessarily for assisted living. They may be.
No, okay.
Yeah, there's no big chains when it comes to residential
Okay.
living, actually. And we're not even, because we're not a franchise. So we're not
Gotcha. Okay.
that everyone's under one. But I think that the big secret to opening an amazing residential assisted living home is having grit. Honestly, it takes a lot to get the homes up and running, and each one is its full own individual business. And, you've got to hire the staff and get licensed, deal with zoning and fire suppression and all of this stuff, maybe angry neighbors, and then market the home, build a home. And you're constantly working on filling the home and making sure that, you have the right staff in place and the right residents there. And so it is a lot of work. And I think all of real estate investing takes grit, but specifically residential assisted living does, because you've got to be willing to get punched in the face and get back up. And that's what it is at the end of the day. And so if that is like the type of person that you are, for any of your listeners, then this might be an amazing adventure for you, because it's one way to really cash flow significantly, but also utilize that skill. Like, it's not fun to live an easy life. Like, that's boring. No one wants to die and be like, life was super easy. I had no challenges. Nothing was hard. So this is kind of something that it's difficult. It can be hard. And I don't tell anybody that, it's get rich quick or super easy. It's definitely can be challenging.
Oh, 100%. So one of our main, our caption was how to make millions in senior housing. So that was my, my YouTube, my thumbnail.
I love
it. And in my opinion, it's grit, from everything that you're describing to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's grit. This is not a, like set it and forget it type thing.
Right.
This is a true business. And anybody who tells you, even with buy and hold housing, like residential housing, it's never everybody says, oh, it's passive income. I want this passive income. This term passive income has come so much, and everybody wants to be sitting on the beach and smoking a cigar, drinking booze and doing all that, and just collect a paycheck. And it's like, in a true business, you got to keep working at it no matter what. Even if you set up systems, and it sounds to me like that's exactly what you do, is you set up systems for everything. You still got to put in the oversight.
Yes.
Yes. You still got to have that oversight no matter what. So with your course, does it go over how to purchase the home, or what to look for in a home? So tell me what's good for a senior assisted living home. What's the idea?
You're looking for zoning, really is the number one thing that you're looking for.
Okay.
And when I say that, what I mean is you want residentially zoned homes in a demographic zone where the average age is 50 to 70-year-olds who are upper middle class, who are making twice the median income. So that's the adult child, right, who can afford to put mom or dad into your home. So we want to be in a residentially zoned area in a single family neighborhood. And when I say single family, I do not mean a 3-2, right? An 8-6 is also still a residential single family home. So, think large, think upscale in a really nice part of town. That's what we're going for, where that demographic zone around is filled with the daughter Judys, right? The adult children who are going to pay for mom or dad to come in your home. And that's really what you're looking for.
Okay. So with that being said, you have residential homes, the more bedrooms, the better. But we have sometimes 2-3 stories. Is that good for assisted living, or is it better for a ranch?
Yeah, you have to put in an elevator, so you can do it.
Okay.
Nothing's stopping you, right? But it's
right.
just cost you $30 to $50 grand for that residential elevator.
Okay. So these are the things that they have to look into. So for instance, if you're buying a 8-bedroom house with, 8 bathrooms or whatever the case may be, and it's a 3-story house, you got to make sure that either there's room to put an elevator or there's some sort of elevator there.
Yeah,
Right.
most homes will not be ready to go as is. You're going to have to do
Right.
quite a bit of renovation to get them suitable for the seniors, whether that's adding bedrooms, bathrooms, ramps, guardrails, handrails, fire suppression, elevators, water tanks, you name it. There's tons of stuff you have to do to get it ready to go for the seniors.
Okay. So it's best to try to find a fixer-upper no matter what, because you got to make those changes anyways.
Maybe because if it's not in that right area, then
Yeah.
I would say no, right? And so,
Well, there's fixer-uppers everywhere.
yes,
So
it depends. Yep.
yeah.
So if you can find it in that right area, then that could work perfect.
So for everyone out there listening, okay, coming to you, everyone out there who's watching, listening, go with a wholesaler. Look at a wholesaler. That's not me saying that because I'm a wholesaler, but look at your options. You will be able to find those type, but you got to be specific on your criteria no matter what. So, all right, now I said that, but it's the truth though. You got to be specific on your criteria on what you're looking for so that wholesalers and other investor friendly realtors, because I'll also go with that, know exactly what you're looking for. So when something either comes up with them, they know it right away. Mm-hmm. And they'll call you versus it going up on the market. Yeah. So typically, do you see the resale value of these businesses? So say somebody brings up these businesses where they're making a good cash flow, usually number $10,000 a month. And then do they just maybe try to exit the business and try to sell the business itself? Or have you seen it where they just try to run it and try to pick up more? I'm just curious on your opinion on that, what you've seen.
Everyone has different strategies and different exit strategies. We've seen some people who are looking to get like a pack of 100 of them, right? We have a student in Colorado who's on number 26 right now. So they want to have 100. They're going to package them up and sell them to the hedge funds, right? And they'll have a nice cash out. So some students choose to go that route. Others, they really wanted them and they got into it like for the same reason that me and my family members did, was they had a loved one who needed this. So they want it for their own family to have a place to live and a place to go. And that's why they're in this business, is so that their grandparents have it, their parents have it, they have it. They're leaving their children a blessing, not a burden. And so they want it to be like a generational business that's in their family.
Right.
Very rarely are people building them just to sell unless they're going the hedge fund route, but it's not really that one-off type situation like that.
Right. So real quick, anybody who's watching out there at the moment, if you do have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll ask them there, or we'll answer the questions there as we go. But in the meantime, that's all, like everyone, as a wholesaler, I have to look at all different exit strategies because my buyers are all different types of buyer. I don't go just to one buyer. I go to all different types of buyers. So that's the reason I asked that. But, you're completely right. Like sometimes it's selfish where, instead of paying $5,000 a month for your grandmother, your mother to go into one of these living, I might as well own the business and just run it myself, and now I'm, instead of being in debt $5,000 a month and having put out, now I'm taking in $10,000 a month, whatever the case may be, where you can bring on different people and supplement that income, so with that, last time I saw you were actually pregnant. Last time I saw you, still are. Okay. When is your due date?
December.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some time.
December. What's
22nd.
Oh, a Christmas baby.
There you go.
I asked that because my brother is December 16th. So, yeah.
Close.
So that, yeah, 100%. So first off, congratulations on that. So, and like I'm looking at the assisted living, business, and I'm treating it like, do you have like all other businesses like problems hiring people and hiring qualified people? Like, what's your guys' process for that?
In our industry, pretty much every person you would ask would tell you, yes, it's very difficult. There's a lot of turnover with the caregivers, right? With the staff
Right.
who works in the home, because I don't work in my homes. I spend maybe 5 hours a week just managing, doing oversight on the businesses. I visit them maybe every other month, if not once a quarter. Very, very rarely am I there. I'm not hands-on at all. But that's how I've set them up, because I have amazing staff who's in place who can run those businesses and do all the operations for me so that I don't have to. That's how I wanted my businesses set up. So everybody kind of takes a different route to what works.
Yeah.
But caregiving in general is typically a minimum wage job, maybe a couple dollar or two above minimum wage, and they're working hard. I mean, they are in there with those seniors 24/7, helping with medication management, 3 meals a day, cleaning, helping bathe the seniors, toilet with the seniors, help them get up to walk. I mean, there's a lot involved. And so there is a lot of turnover in general in that industry. But when in our training, we focus a lot on how to hire, train, and retain the best of the best caregivers so that it's a non-issue for you in your home, because there are things you can do that completely separate you from the pack, that make you the home that everybody wants to work at, that has loyal people who never leave, and you beat all the standards of, people are hiring new, caregivers every 3 months. We're retaining our caregivers for years and years and years, and they're not leaving, right? So there's things you can do to separate yourself, but it's really just about, educating yourself on what to do, and, to be frank, treating them with a lot of respect.
100%. Yeah. No matter what, you got to treat your employees with respect, and, you got to make them feel appreciated. So with that being said, there are, like, what I've seen, there are different levels of seniors too. There's the seniors that are able to take care of themselves, no problem. They need help, maybe they can't really run the stove too much, they can't, just a little memory. My mom calls it sometimers, not all timers. They call it sometimers.
That's cute. So like independent living. They can walk and talk and do what they need to do. They need a little minor help. Independent living.
Exactly. And then there are ones that kind of need some things done for them, but they want they want to keep busy no matter what. So they don't need somebody helping them go to the bathroom, but they need somebody doing most other things with them, And then there's the ones that need everything taken care of no matter what. So do you have all of the different levels in your business, or know how to do that? Or do you stay away from one side versus the other?
So someone who's at an independent living level, they don't move into assisted living because they can live home alone. It's like possibly your mom, right? You're saying your sister's there to possibly help every so often. That's kind of the golden girl style. Maybe they need help changing a light bulb or mowing the lawn or whatever the case. And so it's those minor little things that help make their life easier. But when you need assisted living, you typically need help with 3 to 5 activities of daily living, ADLs as they're called in the industry. So that's getting up, brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, taking medication, eating, right? Toileting, showering, bathing, walking, all those different things. You need help with 3 to 5 by the time a doctor will require you to say, you cannot live alone. You are dangerous. You have to go into assisted living. And so when a senior gets to that point, the doctor will require them to go into assisted living or get one-on-one in-home care, which is insanely expensive as well. So unless you have, someone who's going to quit their job and take care of you full time, you really don't have many options. And so a big box facility, right? A nice large commercial facility, right? Where you're just a number and the ratios are like 30 seniors to one caregiver. Yikes, right? That's an option.
Yeah.
In-home one-on-one care is an option, but expensive. And then residential assisted living is an option. Or, having a loved one who quits their job and takes care of you. So yeah, most of the people in our home need help with 3 to 5 ADLs, or they wouldn't be moving in. They're not moving in for funsies.
Got it. Okay. So 3 to 5 ADLs basically, and then that's what they're coming in now. With that being said, do you deal with a lot with like insurance, and like, does a lot of insurance cover all this, or is it usually strictly out of pocket?
Yeah, about 10% of the population has long-term care insurance. So if someone has it, that's amazing. But 10% is not a lot of people, right? So if you have 10 residents in your home, maybe one would have LTC insurance. The rest are typically paying by selling their property that they lived in, using that capital to pay for their care needs. They're using their cash, their savings, their investments, or their adult children are footing the bill. That's what we see a lot of times.
So your normal medical insurance wouldn't cover something like this? Just normal medical?
Not that I'm aware of. They're not going to cover your housing and your food and your like any of that, right?
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So it's like, that really tells people like, hey, look at your insurance, look at what you're actually paying for. Like, if this will be something down the road, either get the long-term health insurance or make sure plan for something like this, So
yeah. A lot of people don't have plans, and their parents are looking at them saying, hey, I took care of you, it's your time to take care of me. And the adult children are like, what? And they don't understand the fees involved with this and how actually expensive it is. And so it leaves a lot of families in a really bad situation. And the thing is, not everyone's born to be a caregiver. Not everyone is born to, wipe their mom's butt. Like that is like, a lot of parents don't want you to do that. They're like, please don't. Right now,
right.
Our relationship, we're not mother-daughter, mother-son. It's inappropriate. And so I'd rather pay a licensed professional who cares about my senior loved one, who knows what they're doing and is not weirded out by it. And it's very, very, very different dealing with a baby than dealing with a senior, right? So
I totally, just the way you said that, it actually reminds me of, so when my mom first got diagnosed with, the way we found out that she has pancreatic cancer was her legs swelled up, like double the size. And turns out she had blood clots in her legs, her lungs, and all that. And what caused the blood clots was when the pancreatic cancer went from her pancreas to her liver. Okay. And so because of that, it happened within like a 2-week period. Like it was crazy. So we went straight to the hospital. Well, after a couple of weeks of her on blood thinner, she still is not able to do a lot of things on her own. My sister is at the house, and I come visit her every week. I at least go see my mom once a week. And she goes, I just had to wipe mom's hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry. I'm happy it's not me.
Yeah.
So, I go, that's kind of what I'm like, I'm just happy it's not me. So, love you, Mom, but let's keep that relationship separate there.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, I mean, she's to the point now, she's doing a lot better. She's gone through chemo and she's able to do things a lot more on her own, but it's like, I never want to get to that point. And you don't think about it until you have to.
Exactly.
It's like life insurance. I long time ago, I used to sell life insurance. So nobody thinks about life insurance until one, somebody's in front of them that to try to sell them life insurance, or two, somebody close to them has passed away.
Yeah.
And it's in shock, or three, when it's too late.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so this is kind of the same situation where you got to think about this type of stuff beforehand, and getting into the business helps mediate your costs no matter what. So if you can get in there earlier with suspecting that your parents or grandparents or whoever in your family might have to use it, by all means, by time they have to use it, you've perfected your system.
Exactly.
So, so that is really cool. So tell me a little bit about what does it cost to get into your, everything that comes with your course that you have, and what does something like that run usually?
So our online training program starts at $14.97, and our live 3-day training is typically $10,000 for one person, an additional $1,000 for business partner or spouse. But I think that they're running discounts over this last year, so I know we've got a couple months left, but I think it's at $4,997 right now for one person, an additional $1,000 for a spouse.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and the 3-day training is really, really fun because you're getting to meet not only me, but also all of our team members who are past students who got their own homes up and running across the country. And now they're back to teach and train other investors how to do this on their own. And so it's a lot of fun because you're getting tons of experts who've been in the business for quite a while now and really, really just enjoy what they do. And they're there for you to answer and ask any questions that you have. And they just love interacting with the new students.
Most definitely. And that's kind of where, in my opinion, networking with people, especially people who is doing what you want to do, and just pick their brain and asking them questions and so on. It is just the biggest ROI that you can ever have, no matter what.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
With that, so how is it that people can help you out in your business? How can people who's watching this, whether it be they're watching live or whether they're watching the replay, because we do stay on YouTube and we do have the replay going constantly. So what is it that we can do to help you out as well?
Well, our mission as a company is to positively impact 10 million people through residential assisted living. And so I think if you're not aware of what residential assisted living is, educating yourself, really learning what this is, what the difference is, where the local homes in your area are. There's 30,000 of these care homes that exist across our country today. So finding the ones in your area by going to a site like RALHomelocator.com, and really just when you need or your family members need this care, considering it as an option, because we can't help people if they don't know what it is. And we don't have the big sign, big budget that Sunrise and Atrium and Brookdale do. These are mom and pop shops. And so the more people that we can educate across the country to know what this is, so when the time comes that inevitably you or someone in your life needs it, you know where to go, you know what to look for, and at least consider it as an option for your care needs for the senior loved ones in your life. That would be amazing.
Most definitely. And the thing is that people may not even know that the senior living care centers right behind them have followed your course and have been educated by you and things like that. So, they may be under a different name or different company, but they're following your as procedures and things like that. Now, by going to there and networking with those people who've done it in the past, and by all means, that is how you improve everything in a business, no matter what. You see where you can add value and where you can add value to somebody else, and they in turn add value to you by giving you, say, some advice on what to do or different procedures or whatever the case may be that your course has. and what other people, you can see other people actually going through it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, that's awesome. 10,000 people. That is a lot. But I'm happy to hear that goal. Like how far have you gotten to that goal so far?
To the helping 10 million people?
Yeah.
Well,
10 million people. Sorry. Yeah.
No worries. The deal is, if you think about this, it's not that we need to open 10 million homes. Each home that has on average 10 seniors, those seniors don't live forever, right? You only live on average in assisted living for 3.5 years. So we do have quite a bit of turnover. But if you had a home open for quite some time, each senior has families that come with them, right? It's the daughter, Judy. It's the son, Bob. It's the granddaughter, Zoe. It's all those family members that you're impacting and you're affecting, because they don't have to wipe your bum. They don't have to quit their job to take care of you. They don't have to completely uproot their lives. They get to be the daughter, the son, the granddaughter, and they get to love on you in that way in the last years of life. So we're positively impacting the whole family, the seniors, as well as the caregivers. When the caregivers are working in an environment where it's 30-1, where it's long hallways and they're wearing their AirPods and call the seniors by numbers, they're not doing what God set on their heart to do, right? You don't become a caregiver like usually for fun. You become because you love seniors, because you want to help them. Then you get thrown in the big box environment and you're disgusted with the situation and you're being set up to fail. And it's not really your fault, but you don't know any better. Now, if we take you out of that and we put you into this care home where it's a 1-to-4 ratio, you get to hang out with the same people every day, build relationships, truly care for these seniors. We're also impacting the caregivers. So one home with 10 residents isn't just impacting 10 people. It may be impacting 1,000 people, right? And so we just need more care homes to exist so we can reach that goal of 10 million, because it really impacts everyone in and around, the home, everyone involved in it.
Right. No, 100%. And that is a tremendous goal. And, every day that you go towards it, every day, every business that opens up underneath you, it basically, it tenfolds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Now we are coming close to the end. I want to be respectful of your time and things like that. Now, one thing I do want to ask anybody who is watching, if you are watching on the replay, leave a comment down below on what you want to ask Isabelle, things like that. We'll try to get that question answered as much as possible. So with that being said, let me I'm trying to start something with my podcast where, what is the best business books that you have read? Name 2 of the best business books that you have read that has made the biggest impact in your business.
I would say I just read this one that I loved, and it's called A CEO Only Does 3 Things. And I'll give you the cliff notes, but it's focusing on numbers, people, and culture. And I love this book. It's by Trey Taylor. I actually know him. I'm in a mastermind with him, but A CEO Does 3 Things, I think, is an amazing book for leaders in business, entrepreneurs, and CEOs, because truly, if you just focus on those things, everything else will fall into place. And I love that. The other book that I love, and I always recommend it, it's not a business book. I read it more as a fun book, but I took a lot of things from it for business, is called The 5 a.m. Club. And it's about getting up at 5 a.m., obviously, the title, but it's not just about that. It's about like living your life to the fullest and really choosing what you're going to do with your time, being very wise with your time and not getting distracted by everything that feels so important throughout the day, and really just prioritizing time and where your energy goes and maximizing your days. And I think both of those books in combination have helped me maximize my day and maximize my business. And I think that's the theme of my books here tonight.
That is awesome. And then just one last question. If somebody were wanting to get started today, okay, what are the things that they should be preparing for to run a senior assisted living place? Obviously, besides taking your course, besides that, what are the top, we'll call it top 2 to 3 things that they need to prepare for?
Yeah, I would say start making your game plan on raising capital, right? We always encourage you not to use your own money on these ventures. So what is your game plan for that? And you want to be prepared to have over capitalization, because the worst thing you could do is go back to an investor and say, actually, I need more. So game plan on that, whether that's creating your business plan, whether that's just running the numbers to see how much you're actually going to need in your area, in your market. That's really, really, really important, is starting to kind of gather all that information on what you're going to do in that regard. And then number 2, honestly, I would say start marketing. You don't have a home, you don't have a location, you don't have staff, it doesn't matter. Start marketing, because if you want your home to be full on day 1, you need to market now when it's just an idea in your head. You need to be the assisted living guy or gal in your area and tell every single person that you know you are opening a home coming soon, right? Because it's so important that by the time you are breaking ground, you are hiring your staff, you are doing this. Now everyone's excited, they're anticipating it, and you do have a waiting list before you open. If you wait until you got the stamp of approval and the license, you're going to be screwed. It's going to take you a long time to open. So committing to the idea, committing to yourself, and telling other people, it really helps you actually bring things to fruition. So I would say marketing, you can never start too early, and really making your game plan for raising your capital or what you're going to do to fund the project is super important as well.
Most definitely. And that's what I tell people is, no matter what is you have to do in whatever business you're in, whether it's senior assisted living, whether it's real estate, whether it's another business, is just by getting loud and telling people exactly what you're doing. Be proud of what you're doing. If you're proud of it, it shows. When you talk to other people, like, it's funny because when I go to network events, or when I'm actually, it hits me more when I'm talking to somebody who knows nothing about real estate. Okay. When I talk and I'm starting to talk about wholesaling, I'm talking about different strategies that we do, I'm talking about what I do. They're like, I can see your passion.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can feel it. And no matter what, whether it's assisted living, whether it's anything else, that reinforces that, you got to get loud and tell everybody what you're doing. Okay. So 100%. So with that being said, I really do appreciate you coming on with us today and sharing everything. Now, again, anybody who does want to get started with their course, the link is in the bottom below. Okay. And go ahead and get started. At least get some information. If you have any questions, I'm sure there's a way to contact her or one of her team members on there. So, and kind of go from there. So I'll bring you down, and then we'll exit, and then kind of if you just hold on a minute, I'll talk with you after. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate. This was a great episode today, and I'm very, very happy for bringing on Isabelle coming on here. When I first saw her running. Showing at the MREI real estate meetup, it was phenomenal. It was, I knew she had to come on here at some point. So with that being said, we're going to bring on here every other Monday. We're going to bring on a new guest coming in. So stay tuned, and let's all do deals together.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.